How does coal production affect the environment, and what is being done about it? In 2022, Canadian mines produced 47 million tons of coal and ranked 14th in the world for the highest producer. Considering that it is one of the most greenhouse-intensive energy sources in the world, why is it used for over a quarter of the global energy? Worldwide, over 8 billion metric tons are produced yearly. So why do we still use something that has so many negative impacts, and what exactly is being done about it? The main use of coal in Canada is power, but how exactly is coal turned into a supplier? Well, the process is surprisingly simple. It begins when the coal is mined, either by surface mining or underground mining. If it's mined from the surface, then the land is made reusable in a process called reclamation. Then it's transported to a coal-fired plant where the coal is burned in a boiler to make steam. The steam is put in tremendous pressure and flows into a turbine, which spins a generator to create electricity. Afterwards, the steam is cooled, turned into water, and returned to the boiler to produce a new round of energy. Now that we know the process, we can identify the problems that it poses. It turns out there's issues from the mining to the coal plant, which all add up to being catastrophic for the environment. When the coal is mined, it causes problems with the area surrounding it. Surface mining leads to loss of plants, soil disturbance, and animals losing their homes. It alters landscapes permanently and fragments habitats, which impact animals. Surface mining also causes land degradation, which changes topography, increasing erosion, impacting water flow, and making land restoration difficult. Another process that happens in the coal mine is called mine drainage, which is when water passes through mine tailings, infecting rivers, streams, and groundwater due to pollutants like acids and heavy metals getting in the water from the tailing. This has negative impact on the organisms in the bodies of water. Coal mining also generates lots of dust, which affects air quality and human health, impacting our quality of life. Mining coal is also dangerous for the miners, who can get black lung and other respiratory illnesses from breathing in coal dust. Mining coal can also contribute to chronic bronchitis, decreased lung function, heart attacks, and even cancer. There can also be accidents in the mine that threaten human life and outside the mine which impact the environment. An example of this is the Frank Slide disaster in Alberta. When the newly mined coal is taken to the power plant, there are more problems in the environment. The main issue is with the air because pollutants from the plant get into it. An example of this is sulfur dioxide, which gets into the air when emissions from coal combustion react with water to form sulfuric acid, which leads to acid rain and respiratory problems, all of which impact on quality of life. Nitrogen oxide plays a role in smog formation and respiratory issues, which also impact our quality of life. Particulate matter is very abundant in coal plants and can penetrate deep into the lungs and cause various health problems, and is also linked to excess deaths, all of which have a massive impact on our quality of life. Coal plants can also release lots of mercury into the air, which causes contamination in food and water sources, impacting quality of life. Carbon monoxide, volatile organic compounds, and heavy metals can all impact human health, quality of life, and the environment. Coal-fired plants also release numerous amounts of greenhouse gases, including CO2, methane, nitrous oxide, and other heat-trapping greenhouse gases, which make the earth hotter, contributing to climate change. Coal-fired plants are the largest single source of CO2 emissions in the U.S. They also pollute the waters, producing wastewater loaded with heavy metals, acid mine drainage, and sedimentation. So with all these environmental issues, why is coal so widely used? Well, there are multiple reasons for it, which is what I'll talk about next. The main one is the abundance and cost of coal. There are various mines across the world, and coal is considered cheap compared to other fossil fuels and energy sources. It also has less high initial cost than the others. Coal also has high energy density, which means a large amount of energy can be extracted from a small amount of fuel. This is good for energy generation. Speaking of energy, coal is good at baseload power, which is the minimum amount of power that can be supplied to a power grid at any given time. Coal is also quite a veteran in the energy game. Compared to all the renewable, eco-friendly rookies who have just jumped onto the scene, coal already has developed mines, transportation, and utilization. Coal can also be used in other industries like steel manufacturing. Even with all these pros, I still think the cons outweigh them. It seems that governments in various countries think so as well, because they are taking lots of steps to make the future a cleaner one. According to the World Resources Institute, the use of coal and power has decreased in the global energy sector recently. This is because countries have taken steps to limit it. The website says, and it gives a list of 10 countries that were able to reduce emissions by a large amount. The top one was Greece, which was able to get down to a whopping 41 percentage points, making the country's energy 10% of coal power. The other countries on the list were the UK, Denmark, Spain, Portugal, Israel, Romania, Germany, the US, and Chile. Denmark on the list was able to replace all their coal power with renewable energy, and the UK reduced all the way down to 2% usage of coal through the country. This was done through an 8-year period. Canada is also taking steps to remove coal power, but is doing it for a more prolonged time. In 2016, Canada introduced a plan to phase out coal power by 2030. Between 2005 and 2021, Canada reduced coal power generation by 66%. Seeing as they did so much in that period, this may be a realistic goal. There's not much we as individuals can do to stop using coal, but we could try to influence others. We could ask our parents about the energy sources we use in our lives, and if coal is used, we can tell about all the problems that go with it. We could also write petitions to the government convincing them to make good on their promise to phase out coal. Coal production is an important issue, so it's important to inform people so we can make the future a better one for us.